turn it.
Okay, we have microphones now.
We do.
Oh, man,
We're almost
it's like we've never done this before.
every week's a brand new week. You know, I think that sometimes every morning when I get up. Oh my gosh, Lizzie, I wish people could see your toes. I just look.
Oh,
You should put your foot up here.
I don't think there's any way.
Oh my gosh, they're so cute.
So I've got 2 trips coming up, and they're kind of separate, but we're trying to merge the same for my nails. So we've got a tropical Disney theme going on.
Yeah,
So it's going to
so
be fun.
Cute. Yeah, too bad you can't see your toes because they are really, really cute. Well, good morning, everyone. We're almost here. So first thing that we want to talk about safety in your quilting room.
Yeah.
Because some ding-a-ling and
Can you see? Oh, yeah, I think you can see.
that? I had to go for a blood transfusion yesterday. No, I didn't. That's a lie. That's a bold face. But here's what we want to say. And I am usually so careful. That doggone rotary cutter. Once I even cut my finger off. But this time I just made a slit in my little baby finger. But I couldn't get the dumb thing to stop bleeding. I always close my rotary cutter. Even if I'm standing right there, I've made one cut and then I'm going to make my next. In between, every single time I close that doggone rotary cutter.
Here.
Every time.
I think my camera was a bit dirty. We were a bit fuzzy, so I think we're a bit better now.
Oh, no, that was just my natural look. I'm always a bit fuzzy.
Oh, gosh.
We're just, so the tables in here are
wonky.
Are a little wonky. But, so I was working on repairing a mattress pad for my kiddos, and I had cut one side and I just went to lift it up to cut the other. And I had my rotary cutter right there with the blade open. And I just like that.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, my finger's stinging. And I looked down and it was
bleeding.
And I thought, no, I can't bleed on this white mattress pad.
That's the thing about the rotary cutter blades sometimes is they cut so sharp and so cleanly that you kind of don't notice for a second. And all of a sudden you're just bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And then it hurts.
And then it hurt. I'm like, what did I do there? Yeah, so then I had to stay home for a little while so I could get the crazy thing to stop bleeding. And it's just this little teeny tiny, I mean, it is nothing. I'm letting it air out for a little while. And then I'll put a Band-Aid on it so it doesn't
get anything back.
Open up and bleed on anything. But safety first. Be a safety kid.
So when I first started working here, I didn't think about closing my blade. I really didn't. And which was silly because I had little kids at home. Mm-hmm. But anyway, someone that I worked with, she doesn't work here anymore. But she says, oh, you owe me $25. And I thought, oh. And so every time and that still sticks with me. Yep. I'm going to close that up. And I don't know why that made such a difference.
Pay a quarter,
I don't want to pay
no.
But it's a good practice to be in.
It really is a good habit to get into because it's just so quick. You just reach over, up and around, and then you cut yourself.
Well, and the other problem is I often lose my rotary cutter. It'll be underneath something.
Shoot.
And so if you're reaching around blindly to find something, then you can get cut or cut something you don't want to cut, like another piece of fabric or something. So yeah, just be smart.
Safety first. Safety first. So we thought today we'd talk about something that's kind of fun. And, you know, I'm just going to say this right out loud. If you have quilt police in your life, ignore them. Just smile sweetly and say, yes, I got this.
Yes.
I got this. Because nobody should tell you. I mean, it's okay if you're in a class and you listen to the teacher and they're explaining their process of how they do things.
Right.
Then do listen to that.
Well, that's what you've hired them for.
Exactly, right? But at the same time, listen to what they're saying. Try their method because you know what? Sometimes we end up liking that better. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they've found a new tool or listen to what they're saying. Try it, but if that method doesn't work for you and you like your method best, by all means, go back to doing it your very own way.
Yep.
So if you have somebody in your life, we had a lady come in one time and it was so sad, and she said, you know, I've just recently gotten back into quilting. She said, I lived in this neighborhood and there were amazing quilting people there. I joined their little group and one of them said to me, oh, you're never going to be a quilter. You're doing this all wrong. And she said, I was so discouraged that I, for years, stopped trying.
Oh.
But she said, I always really wanted to quilt. She said, finally, I decided, you know what? I'm going to try this on my own. I'm going to just take some classes. I'm going to do it with a different group. But it was only one person that was in this group that was so mean to her. And she came in with the most beautiful quilt that she had made. And she was not sure about herself because she'd been told over and over,
right,
you're not a quilter. So those kinds of people, kick them out of your life. You don't need that negativity.
Well, and even if someone just made one little comment, it just sticks with you. And so make good comments too. Compliment people around you.
Do you know what Roxy found the other day?
No.
Well, so we're sitting at the table and we're looking up at this quilt, and she goes, Fran, is that piece up there sewn in wrong?
Oh, look at what quilt?
It's on Black Bonanza. I'll show it to you.
Oh, okay.
And I looked up there and I said, Roxy, no, it's not supposed to. It's wrong. I said, I can't believe that I did that. Well, I can believe that I did it. I do that all the time. But that I did it. So the whole quilt together, I said, and who quilted that quilt for me? Because here's the thing that I noticed when I was machine quilting for people. You get this rhythm and you go along and say you've got a half square triangle or a quarter. You know what you're quilting in that. And then if it's turned wrong, it's like you can't make that work. And so I went, oh, who quilted that for me? She goes, well, I did. I said, okay, Rox, so neither one of us spotted that. But I said, it's beautiful and it's staying, and that's what it is. So everybody, and now it's just, and I chuckle about it because it's funny. It's just, we all do it.
It is what it is.
And it's not a big deal. And
yeah.
So I will forever now look at that block and laugh.
And laugh.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. But today, so we just kind of wanted to talk a little bit today about there are no quilt police. And do you always have to do a quilt like the pattern?
And
choose those fabrics, choose those colors. And
No.
that's half the fun. So I know we've talked about this before, but a lot of times when I want to make a quilt, if it's somebody else's pattern, I take that pattern and I make a black and white copy of it. Then their color choices don't influence me in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's something that's kind of fun to do. And I think sometimes some of my friends here at the store get intimidated about putting colors together.
Yes.
So here's my thing to them. Do you love those quilts together? This is going to be your quilt. Doesn't matter if anybody else likes that together. If you love those fabrics together, you're going to love your quilt. So just do it.
Yeah.
But this is a really good. Oh, Lizzie, look what you
I just
did
printed that.
have a copy of your sweet quilt. Okay, so here's a perfect example. Now we did this little quilt. Was that last year? Yes, it was last year. We made this little quilt, and I love this lady. This is our friend Julie, who's such an amazing woman. But when I looked at that pattern, I saw red, white, and blue. I saw stars. I'm like, okay, I want to do my quilt in red, white, and blue. And we had these amazing, we still do, well, not all of these fabrics, but amazing Kim Deal fabrics. So look at how beautiful that is.
We show them side by side?
I think so. Let me scooch over. Can you see them both in there?
Yeah, like that. I was trying to.
Okay. So this
See
is
how
the
different
quilt
they
that
look.
Liz made. This is the pattern. This is what I did. So, oops, sorry, Lizzie.
Oh.
So, see this? See? So there's red, white, and blue. Totally different than what the pattern was. So this became these two.
Yeah.
So you do not have to follow the colors that are in a quilt. It's sometimes fun, and it's so fun to see how different that looks using those different color combinations that you might like. So that was one thing that I wanted to tell you about. You can change the pattern. It's your you bought that pattern. You can do whatever you want to with that pattern. And you know, the designers are always really happy to see what people have done.
It's fun to
with
see.
their
I
patterns.
think so too.
I think it's way fun.
Well, and I probably told this story before, but I think it's worth telling. So years and years and years ago, before I was a quilter, there was a quilt hanging here that I loved. And I said, Mom, will you buy that and make that for me? And so she bought the pattern. She didn't buy the kit. She bought the pattern. And then I became a quilter several years later. And I said, Mom, go find that pattern. I think I can make it, which by the way, it was way too hard for my skill level at that time, but I did it. But anyway, she kept finding it and she showed it to me and I says, no, that's not it. The pattern looked so different from what was hanging in the store. I didn't even recognize the pattern. And then finally we figured out, oh yes, that is the pattern. And I like the colors that I did it in really well. And I actually would love to remake that quilt because I was a new quilter and it was a sampler. Right. And so you made a couple of each block. So it was a good skill builder for me. But anyway, but that's so interesting to me. And it was so interesting to me that the pattern was not a good picture. It was not a good, but Fran saw that and knew she could do better. And so, yeah, well, it's just so interesting. Yeah. It's different. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago, probably at least. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So another thing that I want to talk about too is when you're doing, now please do not call the store and ask for this pattern because this was a second Saturday quilt that we did years ago, and Amy McClone designed the quilt. I do not have any patterns that I can sell for this, but what I really wanted to show you is there are some colors, and I know we have talked about this many times. You can use every single shade of red in your quilt, and I know you can't see the blocks on the bottom very well, but this was a little quilt that we did a very long time ago, but I wanted to show you dark red, lighter red. There's even a little pink for sissies.
There's
in
pink
there.
In here.
Yeah, there's some pink in it. So, but if you look at this and you see, I mean, we've got orangey reds, pinky reds, red reds, brown reds,
maroon reds.
Mm-hmm. Every single red will go together in a quilt. Now, here is the best tip for that. Don't just put one dark red in with all light reds. That will stand out like a sore thumb. So if you are doing lots of reds, use lots of that same shade in your quilt so that it's not just one block sticking out at you. The other color that you can do that with is greens.
Oh.
Greens work very well together. Everything from yellow greens to blue green. All greens are going to go together. Now, blues are tricky.
You get purpley blues, you get gray blues.
And they don't all look together. They just don't. Blues are tricky. Blues are something you kind of need to match more. Now, you can use lots of different shades, but they almost have to stay in the same hues to look good in an all blue. If you're doing a two-tone blue. Now, if you're doing a scrappy quilt, you can use lots of different blues in there. You still got to be a little bit careful with that, but that way it does work a little bit
and
better.
I think the key to scrappy is commit to the scrappy.
Yes.
Right?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid and try and just go as scrappy as you can. And it can't be scrappy with like 4 different fabrics. It's got to be scrappy with like 40 different fabrics.
Lots and lots of fabrics. And if you're doing a scrappy quilt, don't put like just one gold in there or one red or one. Again, same thing with your all red quilt. You need more than just one because if you don't, that's the one that's going to jump out at you. And it almost looks like, oh darn, she didn't have enough blocks, so she threw this one in at the end. So more is better.
Yeah.
More is always better. The other thing about making a quilt is scale. And I think we've probably talked about this one before.
Maybe these, I'm not sure. Anyway.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so when you're doing it, now there is a little bit of an exception to this, but when you are doing a quilt, you want different scales. So see how we have a very, very small, almost looks like a solid there, little tiny bit bigger, still bigger, and bigger even still. Well, look at these beautiful Tula fabric. Oh my gosh. Erin made a quilt out of this new Tula line.
I haven't seen it yet, have I?
Oh no, it's beautiful. It was at the Quilter last week, so it may be showing up tomorrow. But scale is very, very important when you're putting fabrics together in your quilt, because what if I just chose all little teeny tiny prints? Now, when you're doing, thank you, Miss Liz, when you're doing, let's say I am doing a very small block, you may want to only choose small prints, because if I'm cutting out, say I'm cutting a 1.5 inch square from this, I am obviously not going to get my whole shell in there, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to be chopping that off. So it may look like this. Well, what the heck is that? So which
is okay in some situations.
It is. In some of them, it's all right. When Lynn did his tiny club, that was one of the things I know that he talked about, was have the scale fit the size of the block.
Of the piece, yeah. Well, not the block, the piece you're cutting. And yes. So it's scale variety within the quilt, but then really how big of a piece. So I grabbed this one because it does have such a huge print on it. So this one, if you are hitting 1.5 inch squares, you don't want to be, unless you're cutting it of the leftovers.
Would be perfect.
This would be really pretty.
Would be good.
But you don't want to get a big print
like
this.
What if I just end up with that? Oh, now what is that? And maybe it's eyeballs with a smile underneath it. It kind of looks yeah.
Well, and I've heard Tula talk about these, and she doesn't do a lot of these in her pre-cuts, because if you had a 2.5 inch strip of this, you don't get to appreciate it. Even a 5 inch square sometimes is not, maybe a 10 inch, but then you even have to, then in the factory, they have to cut it so that the 10 inches make sense.
And they don't do that.
So, but something like this it's great.
Is perfect.
So you just have to think a little bit about some of those things. And this one, I would say, is more on the medium large, would you say? It's not huge like this one where you have to cut 7.5 inch squares or something to get a print, but it's still pretty large. You wouldn't want to be cutting anything small, smaller than a 4 inch maybe or something, 3.5, 4 inches, something like that.
So you can get those cute little, are they sea otters?
Sea lions, maybe?
Sea lions. I think they're sea lions. Yeah.
Anyway, and Tula's a great one to talk about scale with, because she has such an artist eye, and she understands that you need all scales.
Medium,
large. So anyway,
her stuff's so amazing.
Do you see what's over here?
Oh. Oh my gosh. So Saturday is our second Saturday
reveal.
It's the big reveal. So maybe next week I'll show you the For Real quilt.
Yes, you can.
It's amazing. So Lizzie brought hers in today.
It's going to be so excited. It's going to be a reveal for Fran, too.
It is a
surprise. Okay, let's look through comments really quick.
Oh, let's do it.
So Ken says it's
Good morning, Ken.
raining, and he said jerks are in every group. We're having a little situation in another group that we're in, and it's just kind of sad. But
it is sad. And why?
I know. It's a lot of energy.
Too much. And you know what? Negative energy only hurts you. It really, it hurts others around you. But if you're being mean to somebody, how does that? Well, there are just mean people in the world. I guess I shouldn't say that. But it makes me feel bad.
Quilters, I think overall,
yeah,
I could say most of the time are just lovely, happy people.
Yes.
So, and if you've got people that aren't lovely and happy,
get rid of them.
Move on. Find some new ones. We've got good groups here, so come join us. Yeah. Sharon says good morning. Brian says good morning.
Good morning, my sweet
Pam says good morning. Pam Checkett. Brian says I'm not a red person, but teals and blues would look gorgeous. Yes.
Teal and navies. Ooh,
yes, I agree.
But even teals and blues. We had a really pretty quilt here that Shay made. Do you remember that one? And it was all turquoise.
Yes.
Blues and teal. It was beautiful. It was really a pretty one. So you're right, Brian. That's a great color combination. But why don't you like red? Everybody should like
You know,
red.
Kate doesn't like red. Did you know that?
And
my daughter.
she's a bear.
Yeah.
Bear River Bear. She's
does-
not a bear. She's a
She does not like red. So
I am so surprised.
well, and I think that's one thing as a quilter, I have learned to like every color because
I don't.
but I feel like there's times that you need that blue or you need that. See, and I wouldn't have called myself a blue person. I wouldn't have called myself a green person. I would have never called myself a cheddar person. But I love cheddar in a quilt, and I love blues and greens in ways that I never thought I would. I've always loved black, and I've always loved red. I've had several red cars, but I think I like them all. I mean, sometimes you need a yellow, sometimes you need a green, sometimes you just need. Anyway,
you don't ever need. Although I have put pink and purple in my quilt sometimes, it's just that they're my least favorite colors. Given my choice, I wouldn't put them in there.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not your choice. Oh, there goes the skateboarder right there outside of us. So
okay, we have 2 more things to talk about.
We do?
Quilter's intervention in this quilt?
Well, that is Quilter's intervention. Okay, so I'm in my sewing room and I'm finding all kinds of treasures in there, some that I'd forgotten about. I found one little quilt in there, and what did it say? 2006, I think it says on the little label. There's even a label. In our quilt guild, we did a little round robin, right? And so on this particular one, I passed around my center, and then people made blocks that they pinned around it. So in this basket in my sewing room, I'm like, well, what is this? So you had to pin it onto a background piece so that everybody could pin theirs on wherever. So it's all folded up. So I'm just seeing the background. I'm like, well, what is that? Oh, I'm working on putting it together. When I get it put together, I'll bring it and show you.
That would be fun.
It's so cute. So it's just got to be something that I do in between other important things, because it's mine and hard. It's not a real priority. But this is another one I found, and all this needed, you guys, was to be quilted and bound, right? So I had this silly thing in my sewing room, and there's a reason that I wanted to get this one done, and I can't tell you right now because I don't have details yet, but I'll tell you soon. Okay, so this quilt, do y'all know what that is? Say Buggy Barn.
Oh, it's
Say
so
Buggy Barn.
Buggy Barn.
Is it cute? So Saturday I brought it because I still can't get to my gamma. So Saturday I brought it, and my friends Anna Lee and her sweet daughter Elisa quilted it for me.
It's so gorgeous.
Saturday, remember I said I gave it to him Saturday. Yesterday, Elisa came to work and she's like, "I've got your quilt."
And
in
this
my car.
isn't tiny.
It's a big quilt. It's a big quilt. I said, "You do not." And she goes, "Yeah, I do." All quilted.
Beautiful.
So I trimmed it up before I went home. I was going to sew the binding on the machine this morning, but my back is not great today. So I thought, I can't lug that around on my sewing machine because it's a big, heavy quilt. So I did not. But that's what we wanted to talk about. Coming up on the 20th of June is our Quilters Intervention Sale. So that's why I'm working so hard trying to get some of my stuff cleaned up. Isn't crap. Don't say quick, because it's good. Most of it is still good stuff. But my rule is I am going to not have anything on my floor. Everything is going to be on shelves. Nothing on the floor. That's a good rule. Goal. I know, but I have a lot of stuff to go through to make that one happen. Maybe I'll just get some more shelves and put them out in my family room, and then they won't be. There you go.
More shelves is always the answer.
No, probably not. But we're working on that. So the Quilters Intervention Sale, and I think there are a couple of spots still left outside.
Outside, we do have outside spots available.
I think there's a couple of those left. It's just $20. The sale will go from 9 o'clock in the morning until, is it 1? I want to say 1. I think it's 9 to 1.
I think it's 1 too.
I think it's 9 to 1. And so what we're doing is right now, I think we have 12 maybe 22 people, somewhere around 22 people
Sure.
signed up. Don't quote me on that. Anyway,
Actually, I
they're
could tell
bringing
you.
their own kits, fabric, books, patterns, everything. It's only quilty supplies though. So it's not a yard sale. So this is for quilters. So you're probably not going to come and find fat quarters for 25 cents, or it's not a yard sale. It's a quilter sale. Now, we've asked all of the vendors to please only bring good quilting notion, whatever they want to sell. They will price everything at their little tables. They're responsible for collecting their money. And so if you would like to rent a spot, we'd love to have you, but we'd also love to have you just come shop and see what there's. I've put on blinders because remember, my stuff has to all fit on shelves. I won't get through everything before a week from Saturday.
That's
There's
okay.
No way.
We
But
really hope to do this again.
Yes.
So this is our first one.
Yeah.
We'll have fun and we'll learn a lot, and then we'll have another one.
And we'll have another one.
So
hopefully we'll make it a yearly, or maybe even twice a
Yeah,
year.
maybe.
You never know.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this one goes, see what happens, and see if hopefully people will come and support, either buy or set up and sell. So
if you're coming to shop, might we suggest that you bring cash? And then also we don't know for sure, but we're expecting some vendors or people selling to accept maybe Venmo. But probably not credit cards. We're guessing that not very many people are going to be set up for that. It can't run through the store.
No.
So just be prepared for that. Just like you would go, out to a garage sale or something, you would bring one of those other forms of payment. So a cash, I think, was probably the best. And it's a good way to stay on budget too, if you just have cash.
What's a budget? You see it, you like it, you get it.
There you go.
I don't know what that
Which
budget
is how you might have gotten into your problem in the first place.
It is how I got into my problem in the first place. But oh well, it's okay. Someone else is going to enjoy some great things because there's going to be really good stuff.
I think there is going to be really good stuff.
I'm pretty excited about it. So
it's going to be fantastic.
So we hope that you will come and join us on the 20th. And
So I'll be gone the next couple weeks, but Fran will be here.
Oh, so Aaron and I had a chat about this because Aaron's going to be helping me. We had a chat. We've promoted ourselves to a B+, A-.
I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic.
We're no longer a flunk. We're no longer F's. F isn't for Fran, it's for fail. But we've made great progress along the way.
Good.
B+, A-.
And I don't think these next trips, I don't think I'll come back with any quilty treasures. Maybe a suntan, but that's about it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Relax.
Yeah, hopefully.
Toes
in the sand. I'll bring some
good for you
sandy toe pictures, and
just don't bring any sandy toes.
You never know.
Sand under those toenails down there. So anyway, I think that's all we have to talk about today. So we hope that we've maybe given you a couple tips and tricks about changing pattern colors, using different scales, using different fabrics in your quilt. So we hope that some of that information is helpful to you.
Yes.
And we appreciate everyone for joining us again this week. And y'all take care. Be kind to one another. Be really kind to yourself. And I will see you next week. This one, she thinks she needs a vacation.
Yeah, every once in a while.
It'll be good. I let her go. So Aaron and I were talking about this. So here are all these people going on cruises and trips and whatnot. And I said, well, Aaron, we're not going anywhere. Maybe you and I should go somewhere. And one of my girls whispered to her, oh, have you not told Fran about your cruise? So apparently I'm the only one that's not going anywhere for a while. So take care, everyone. Have a lovely week, and we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.